dance for joy or lust or anger and every time.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, or in this case, not very sensible secondhand classics, the series where we drive some, well, generally sort of practical and sensible cars that are over 15 years old that you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. In this case, though, this 1995 Bentley Turbo RL it's not very sensible at all. In fact, it does about 10 miles per gallon on a good day. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Bentley Turbo R was launched in 1985. It was basically an improved version of the old Bentley Mulsanne Turbo that had been launched in 1984. The main difference between the Mulsanne and the Bentley Turbo R was the fact that the suspension had been completely changed, it had been improved. And having driven a Rolls-Royce Silver Spur a few months ago, which is very floaty, I can see why they wanted for their Bentley brand the car to be a little bit tauter and tighter. And just driving around very slowly here, you can feel this car is so much tauter to drive. It's much more of a driver's car. The Rolls-Royce, you want to be in the back, being driven, without a care in the world. And this, you actually might enjoy being in the front. One thing I don't enjoy, though, is the fact that we're going down this road, and this car is quite wide. It also makes a fantastic noise from this 6.75 litre V8. In fact, this engine, which dates back to the 50s, actually, originally I think it was much smaller capacity, but by the time that the Bentley Mulsanne came out in 1982, it was 6.75 litres, and with this turbo, and originally on Stellix carburetors, producing 296 horsepower. Later on, when the car got Bosch fuel injection in about 1986, it's improved that to 330 horsepower. And this car, being a 1995, actually has 385 horsepower. But two other models that had more power, the Turbo S, that was only available in 1995, which had 408 horsepower, and the run-out model, the Bentley Turbo RT, with 400 horsepower. The car got progressively improved over the years. First in 1990, there'd been changes to do with the headlamps in late 1988. Ride is a bit firmer than a Rolls-Royce, but it's still very smooth actually, with this kind of Citroen type suspension system in it, which means you have to actually make sure you maintain that properly. So facelift was in 1990. In 1992, the car changed from a 3-speed to a 4-speed gearbox in early 1992. In 1995, the car was comprehensively changed, and we think this the car is a 96 model year, but it's an August 95. It is a 96 model year car, and so it has a few other improvements to the interior and obviously the exterior. Beautiful wheels on this car as well. The only thing is, I feel like the king of the road. I feel like the chairman of the board driving around in this car, but they're actually not as unaffordable as you might think. Prices of these start at under £5,000, which is how this car qualifies for sensible second-hand classics, or not very sensible second-hand classics. But of course, you'd be buying yourself an awful lot of trouble if you bought a Bentley Turbo R for £5,000. You want to really pay maybe £15,000-20,000, which is roughly around what this car's worth, a little bit more than that actually, to buy yourself a very good example. And Hans, who owns this car, tells me that he's owned the car for 2.5 years, and the only real issue he's had, apart from servicing it at a specialist, is the wiper motor. That's it. Obviously, a car that's been maintained really, really thoroughly like this one will cause fewer problems than one that's an absolute basket case. Of course, they do rust. We've had a look at the outside of this car to see where they actually start to go. It's mainly on the wheel arches, either the front or the back, where we tend to go. Look at this, viewers. Doesn't that look absolutely amazing? So this is an August 1995 car. We're not actually sure whether this is the facelift that came in for the 96 model year or not. It might be, we're not entirely sure, but it looks quite modern with these, I think, updated mirrors. I suspect this is one of the sort of later RLs. The RL itself actually changed its name in 1996 just to the R, because they were all the long wheelbase version after 1996, so the L was superfluous. They're about 10 centimetres longer than these in standard cars. Actually, one of the things I like doing in these cars is getting in the back, so that's what we'll do. I know this isn't a Rolls Royce, and we've had the Silver Spur on the channel recently as well, so this is about the same length as one of those. But the character of the car is a little bit different. It's still extremely luxurious. It's still got these hand-finished wood inserts in here, and acres of real leather and piping. But it's just a little bit more sporty, a little bit less kind of wafty. We've still got these amazing picnic tables in here. You can see either side of there. What if that'll hold a 90s laptop? Then we've got these mat pockets which feel nice and firm. We've got these climate vents in here as well. You can pull the stops out, pull all the stops out. Little tiny thing of putting something in there. We've also got incredibly detailed ashtrays, because back in the 90s you might have somebody who smokes a pipe or something like that driving a car like this, or sitting in the back and letting someone else drive it. So you also get a cigarette lighter there. So we've actually got 2 cigarette lighters in the back, which is quite handy for these days, just using a 12-volt socket. And of course, amazing armrest, double layered, just unbelievable. The quality of the finish in here is like nothing else. You'd only really get it out of being different on a sort of Rolls Royce. You know, it's the same quality as this, built by the same people, same factory. That is it's really relaxing. We've also got these lights on the back. We've got mirrors in the side of here as well. I need to just find the button for reclining these seats. Just down here. I think it's this one. There we go. Yes. Oh yes, viewers. I am relaxed on the way to my board meeting. I'm not going to worry about my shares today. I have the privilege of making noises which only leather can do. What an absolute delight. Just this wood insert here, this incredibly high quality leather, got multiple speakers in the back, amazing headlining as well, beautiful. It's not quite a beige interior, it's more like a sort of oyster coloured interior, but an absolute and utter delight. These really thick carpets in here as well. They're not quite as thick, I don't think, as a Rolls Royce. They're not quite, but they're still very nice. You always want to take your shoes off and kind of just feel the quality of the carpet through them. What an absolutely delightful car. So many things in this car are just wonderfully engineered. So you open the boot and the hinges, in comparison with my Audi V8 that's just over to that side there, this was a much more expensive car, and you can feel it just in everything that you touch. Now, it was very expensive, £48,000 in 1993. This was a whole lot more. I think this is almost double the price of that. So about £200,000 in today's money. Now you can see you can fit your picnic hamper, your blankets in there, and your Bentley jacket, and whatever else you need. But even to close the boot, just the way it's balanced, it's just so perfect. The sort of hinges on here. I know, having seen Weird many years ago when Ed China worked on a Bentley Mulsanne, that the way the bumper actually attaches to the car is also totally over-engineered. It's just amazing. On this car we've got 17-inch wheels, we've got plenty of tyre, we've got absolutely loads of tyre. The only issue with these cars is if you want to fix them, it does cost a lot of money. And even like this rust here, but just a tiny little bit of rust coming through on little bits of the car. There's a bit here and a little bit here. It's not serious or anything like that, but if you want to get that sorted, that's not going to be cheap, which is a shame. But never mind, we will continue with our absolute abject luxury. Look at the fact this dashboard's purple, like the car. You've got a purple leather dashboard in here, and just more and more beautiful wood, leather, lovely switches, carpet, electric seats. Just absolutely beautiful in every way. We'll get in this side, we'll go in the driver's side in a little while. Glove box opens like this. Unfortunately, we don't get upper glove box anymore because that's an airbag in it. Although it doesn't tell you it's an airbag, it is actually an airbag. These levers here are for the climate control vents. We have got sort of dual zone climate control, but it's upper and lower rather than left and right in this car. In comparison with the Silver Spur, which was a 1991 car, this 95 car has got completely different switches. Centre console is quite different. We've got this beautifully engineered ashtray and then a cigarette lighter there, and then we've also got a place for the radio. It goes like this. Now this car's got an aftermarket Alpine unit in it. Obviously if you want to use this car on a regular basis, it's much better to have a modern stereo, but of course if you don't like the look of it, you just hide it away and so nobody knows. So if you go to a show, no one's any wiser really. Unleaded fuel only. The fuel gauge is surprisingly small for a car that does about 15 miles per gallon on a good day. Wipers actually are on here. They're not on the steering column. They're on the switch just there. That is one of the only column stalks. It is the indicators and the flashers. That's all it is. The car only goes up to about 5,000 RPM. I mean, obviously, you don't want to sort of worry about waking the neighbours, do you? And you know, revving it high. It's a nice, smooth, torquey engine. 385 of the finest British ponies in this car. Also got 4-speed automatic gearbox. Earlier cars have had a 3-speed. That was changed about 91, 92. Electric seats, of course, heated seats, memory seats, all that sort of stuff. You can have 2-position heated seats. Have you got anything in this centre bit? Yeah, we have. Oh, wonderful. Look at this. You've got some driving gloves. Amazing. Yes. Viewers, this is shaping up to be an extremely special experience. One of the things that indicates to me this might be a facelifted car, so 96 model year car rather than 95, is this steering wheel, which looks a lot more modern than the older ones used to. But yes, it's just absolute, utterly abject luxury, and it's beautiful. Ooh, we even got a dipping rear view mirror, you know, one of these ones that actually kind of does halfway as well. It says off, low and full if the autofocus will actually work. Trust me, it does say that. Actually, let's get on the other side and see if we can get that mirror to behave itself properly. Yeah, it's unfortunate that that is also kind of there, but really it's a sort of minor comparison with other things you find. One of the reasons why you wouldn't want to buy one of these for £5,000, even if you can, is because that would be much, much, much worse. So, key goes in there. It's not a very expensive looking key for the price you'd pay for the car. Look at the older Rolls Royces and Bentleys, the key looked even more basic than that. So we've got the old headlamp switch, the same as Silver Spur or Bentley 8. And then actually this car has got a slightly more modern instrument cluster. That bit in the middle is a bit more modern. But yeah, we've got the cruise control stalk on there as well. Let's cancel and sort of resume if I can get the autofocus to work properly. There we go. Trip computer's just down there. I'm just going to start her up actually so we can see the little trip computer there. So if we just start her up, I'm just going to put my foot on the brake, start it. Look at all this. You've got all the sort of warning lights on here. You can feel the V8 actually just very gently pulsating. It's wonderful. This car's done less than 80,000 miles, so it's not really been very far in its life. And this is totally unrestored actually. We might have some bits of rust on here, but it's not been repainted or anything. The interior, I think, is actually pretty unmodified as well, which is good. Right, let's just turn that off before we empty the entire UK oil reserves with our fuel consumption and have a look under the bonnet. So you see, we're still in the era when Bentley and Rolls-Royce were collaborating, so we've got a Bentley Motors Limited plaque and then also a Rolls-Royce Motorcars plaque, so you built up at Crewe. So this is Rolls-Royce's famous 6.75 litre V8 engine, generating in this application about 385 horsepower. The earlier ones started at about 296, then 330, and some of the later versions like the RT and the S had even more power than this, about 400 to 408 horsepower. In 1993 they introduced this sort of big cover on top of the engine, so we can't see an awful lot, but trust me, it's there and it's working. A lot of the reservoirs are down here, but you've got even more hydraulic reservoirs there, because this has a similar suspension system to Citroën, like the old Silver Shadow. And actually this platform dates back to the Silver Shadow days, to 65 eventually, and only a few years after this, of course, it was discontinued. The last car-based platform was made, I think, in 99 or 2000. Again, with the engineering of this, you just sort of very gently close the bonnet like that, and it just sort of goes down. There's no fussing or anything like that. It's just all very well balanced and very well engineered. It's really sort of worked out beautifully by the people at Rolls-Royce and Bentley to make the sort of finest cars that they possibly could. And of course, you need the finest amount of money to be able to buy and run one of these. But yes, it's certainly worth it. I'm looking forward to having another go view. So let's go out on the road again. With this car, you just don't really have a care in the world other than the fuel gauge moving very quickly. You just sort of amble along and enjoy the absolute feeling that you are in a superior breed of car. You don't sort of worry too much about what might be happening outside you, cocooned in leather-clad, hand-finished luxury like this beautiful dashboard in here. I'm kind of surprised that we've even got a rev counter in here, because this is a Bentley, not a Rolls-Royce, so we do have one. And just sort of this little firm edge to the right, but it's barely imperceptible, it's just there. But it does mean that actually it's a lot more enjoyable than a Rolls-Royce, which, to be honest, going around the corners in that, it felt like it was going to topple over. This doesn't at all. It feels like you're going to be absolutely fine, and you can seriously hit the autoroute in the south of France and drive from the Mulsanne Strait all the way down to Cannes without a care in the world, apart from just filling up and making sure you've got enough petrol, which is really the only problem you're going to have. If you take anybody in the back, they're going to be very relaxed indeed, with their electric rear seats. And it's an absolute delight to be in such a nice example as this, which I've been seeing at events for quite some time, but it's just come around to today actually driving this, and it is a fantastic experience. So viewers, should you consider a Bentley Turbo R, in this case a Bentley Turbo RL, for your high-end budget is up to £5,000, the sensible classic? Well, frankly, no. I mean, you need a lot more money to buy and run a decent Turbo R or RL. And also, you're going to need some money for fuel and servicing. Servicing's actually not as bad as you think. It's about £500 for a standard service on one of these, which, considering the luxury and the space and the engineering you get, I don't think it's particularly bad. Insurance, of course, you get this on a classic policy, so it wouldn't be too bad. And if you looked after it, which you'd have to do, and if you went to a decent Rolls-Royce and Bentley specialist, then you could keep it going for a long time to come. I can think of many worse ways of spending this amount of money on a luxury car. But you just got to keep your expectations tempered as to what you want it to do and what you expect to be running costs. But thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some more, probably more reasonably priced nostalgic motoring.